The amount of effort that you put in this book, the product is just outstanding. And I can't even fathom that there would be someone else that would go through the effort that you did to do this. You know, you're like, you got issues, dude. You got issues.
That's true. But so do you.
Oh, I do too. I know.
I mean, you think about it, like leaving the teams is a traumatic event. That's traumatic, which you have proved. Look at this. Look at the infrastructure that's surrounding you at this point. You have to do something to account for that trauma. And I always used to think that I was immune to, leaving the teams, and I was never going to, fill it with anything else. And, I'd never gotten any tattoos. I'd never, I didn't get into triathlons or anything like that. I just had this huge blind spot creeping up on me that I didn't even know about. And once this thing found me, I mean, I was hostage to it. Like, there wasn't anything. I mean, it dominated my life. I mean, it was, I try to really, curtail the amount of time that I put into it. I'd work in the morning, I'd work in the evening, after the kids were in bed. But what I found was that I would leave off writing or researching, and then throughout the day, this thing would just be on a loop in my head, and I couldn't break away. And it was like that for 10 years.
When it got published, were you already thinking about your next book, or were you just like, I need a breather?
So when I was writing the book, I had kind of if I wasn't thinking about a paragraph or a specific issue, I had this sort of mental loop going on in my head, and it was always like, what's the point? What's the point? What's the point? What's the point? What's the point of this book? What's the point of this chapter? What's the point of this sentence? What am I doing? What's the point? What's the point? What's the purpose? And that question was always on a loop in my head. And then when I turned the final manuscript in, and I was done, and I didn't have that question to think about, I was a little lost. And I found myself, like, I took a walk in my neighborhood, and and all of a sudden I found myself sort of subconsciously thinking, I started to say, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? And I've fortunately, through a lot of counseling, through some distance from the book, I've been able to, take a pause. And I kind of gave myself, mentally a year, from the date of publication until, so from a year. So July 20th is when it came out. I'm giving myself till July 20th of 2022 before I really start, buckling down or start beating myself up about what's next. So
I'm a psycho because once I get done, as soon as I get done and turn in the final manuscript, well, first of all, before that even happens, I'm already plotting. I already got that next book. One of them is bubbled to the surface, and I'm ready to rock and roll. And so by the time the book comes out, when one of my books gets published, the other one is already being formulated and kind of being written, which is really annoying. Because I also have like the repeat loop in my head, like, oh, this could be good, this could be good. And as soon as that, I go, there's no moment to go, cool.
No. No.
Yeah, so.
I mean, there was maybe an afternoon. I did reward myself at the end of each chapter. I would get drunk. And I wouldn't go out drinking or anything like that. I never did. When
you got done with the chapter, would it be like that's the rough chapter, or is that like, hey, I mean,
yeah, it was the first draft. I knew that I was coming back for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, just getting, putting that flag in the ground and being like, I'm done with that chapter. Like, I felt like, even if I knew that it wasn't perfect, even if I knew if I was going to have to come back, at least I knew
the meat was there.
The meat was there. The content was there, if I had let myself, get that far, then I knew what the point of the chapter was. I knew why that chapter was important, and I knew the point that I was trying to make. So at least I had the bones of the chapter. The structure was good. Whether or not I was going to come back and add stuff on, the Cuban frogmen or something like that, or, gosh.
Where are you leaning towards your next book? You must have an idea in that.
I have an idea, but it's very private.
Very private. All right. You said no one's going to steal any of your ideas.
It's not that.
Because no one has enough time or
it's
commitment.
It has nothing to do with that. It's that I need that in my head If I say it out loud for whatever reason, it'll be like, I need the motivation of it. I need the unfinished quality of it to motivate me to.
That's one thing I noticed is in SEAL training, guys that were like saying like, "Oh, I'm in SEAL training. I'm in SEAL training. I'm in SEAL training." Those guys like didn't seem to make it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same kind of thing for you. You don't want to get it out there because
I don't.
It's almost like you get rewarded for it. You get a little mini reward when someone goes, "Oh wow, that sounds awesome." You already got paid.
Yeah,
you're not allowing yourself to get
little,
paid.
yeah.
That's a good move. I like it.
That's right.
I like it. Don't allow yourself to get paid, man. Don't go credit. Don't take credit. So you're not even taking any credit from me, from Echo. You're just taking nothing from us.
No, I just
you have to earn it over here.
What's in here?
I was going to say, because no one's going to take your idea about some random document written in 1953 about some, new nuclear warhead that led to whatever.
How'd you know?
Yeah, there you go.